Good afternoon. The Port of Centralia Port Commission has gathered for our regularly scheduled meeting for today, March 19th. I will start the meeting, call the meeting to order and start with introductions. I'm Commissioner Kyle Markstrom.
I'm Commissioner Julie Shapley.
We have Commissioner Shapley attending via telephone today. Commissioner Lamont, I believe, is. We will proceed with a quorum of 2. First item on the agenda for today is approval of today's agenda for March 19th, 2025.
I make a motion to approve the agenda for March 19th as written.
Second. There's a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries 2-0. Next item on the agenda for today is good of the order of public comment. This time during the Port Commission meeting is for public comment. This portion of public comment is for non-agenda items. There will be time later on during the meeting to comment on specific agenda items if you choose. The Port Commission welcomes and encourages your comments and participation. However, public comment is not the time for the Commission to answer questions. If you have a question and would like a follow-up at a later time, please leave us your contact information. For those attending remotely or those who are unable to attend, please submit your written comments to agraber@portofcentralia.com before 2 p.m. the day of meetings. We are all lucky to live in a great community where many of us are passionate about making this a great place to live. While everyone might not always agree on how to achieve that, it is important we recognize we can all be passionate about our ideas while respecting one another. You will have 3 minutes to complete your comment. If you reach your time limit, I'll ask you to wrap up. Please stand at the podium when giving your comment. And if you have a specific records request, please see Port staff so we can get you the information you require. Excuse me. First person we have signed in for today is Cynthia Mudge.
Thank you, Cynthia Mudge, with the Chamber of Commerce and Chehalis. A few things happening here in Centralia. Our business after hours is tomorrow at the Community Mediation Center, and they actually offer a lot of interesting services, particularly for the public. So it's a good time to meet their staff, and that's from 5 to 7. We also have coming up a couple of opportunities to meet with your District 20 folks on legislators on a virtual way. They have a virtual town hall meeting coming up on March 25th at 6:30 p.m. And there is a lot going on in Olympia right now. So if you want an opportunity to hear what they're doing, that's one. And then our own District 20 legislative updates is March 27th. Also, that's via Zoom. WorkSource Job Fair. This is put on by WorkSource, but we have committed to help promote it. And that happens, it's the last Friday of every month. So this one's coming up is Friday, March 28th, and that's at Centralia College. And then and that kind of wraps up most of March. And I'm trying to see if we have, another important thing, Washington State Farm Bureau Regional Meeting is March 29th. You do have to register for that, but it's free. And so if you know of any farmers, especially the right to farm is actually the topic this month. So that's coming up. And then our home show in April.
Great. Thank you very much. Next person we have signed in for public comment is Jen Danovich.
Jan Danovich, Centralia. In Port Resolution 2023-01, general public comment period will be 30 minutes stated. Therefore, since there's usually only 1 or 2 commenters, there is ample time to respond to questions or say you don't know the answer and direct them to what the next step would be. You can limit rebuttal. So we don't get an answer at a later date. So I don't know why that can't be done. And I would like a response. I don't get it, but I'd like a response.
Thank you. Is there anybody else in attendance today that would like to provide public comment? Hearing none, I will close public comment. Next item on the agenda for today is approval of warrants.
Do you want to approve the March 5th minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. I wrote my notes and hit too far. Sorry. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes for the March 5th, 2025 meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for the March 5th regular meeting.
Second, there's a motion and a second to approve warrants. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries 2-0. Now on to warrants.
You have general fund warrants and vouchers 24252 through 24272, aggregate amount $200,807.40.
I make a motion to approve warrants 24252 through 24272 in the aggregate amount of $200,807.40.
I will second. There's a motion and a second to approve warrants. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 2-0.
Next item I have for you commissioners is a request from the Economic Alliance of Lewis County for flood mitigation funding for $15,000 for the calendar year 2025. The EDC has asked this in the past. Commissioners have funded sometimes, not funded others, but this year it sounds like they're closing in on some things, and so they've reached out to. My understanding is to not only to the Port of Centralia, but to the Port of Chehalis, both cities and the county as well.
Would you like a motion for?
I would need your approval.
Economic Alliance with Quebec B have also asked for funding through Port of Chehalis, the cities. Are they also doing any funding through any of the towns, municipalities farther south or farther down, Port of Chehalis?
If they are, it wasn't mentioned in their cover letter.
I asked this question, I asked the Alliance directly. I believe, if I remember correctly, the funding partners that were approached was Lewis County for $25,000, City of Chehalis and City of Centralia both for $15,000, the Port of Centralia for $15,000, and the Port of Chehalis for $5,000. I did raise the question why the Port of Chehalis wasn't funding at the same level as the Port of Centralia. I am still waiting on an answer for that. I don't know that that will be changed for this year, but it is my personal opinion that I'd like to see them contribute. I mean, we all stand to benefit from this the same and should all be funding it at the same level. I think this is important work that is taking place.
I agree. I think that should be equal on that. Yes. I make a motion to approve $2,000 to Economic Alliance for 2025 flood mitigation funding.
I will second. Is there any further commission discussion? Are there any members of the public in attendance today that would like to provide public comment on this action item? Hearing none, I will close public comment. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, motion carries 2-0.
Commissioners, the next item I have for you is the closeout to stage 1 of the Mellon Street Connector project, project acceptance. This is for Midway Underground. Our auditor, Amy Graber, has worked closely with our civil engineer, Steve Hatton, and Midway to make sure, and Department of Transportation, finishing up the auditing of those funds, making sure everything's done. We're at that point, and so we would recommend your approval.
I make a motion to close out the project of stage 1 with Midway Underground and their subcontractors.
Second, is there any further commission discussion? Are there any members of the public in attendance today that would like to provide public comment on this agenda item? Please step to the podium, state your name, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Jan Banovich, Ryan. I was just curious as to what all Midway's part of it, stage one, entails a U Street across, the 900 block of U Street on the, see, on the east side of U Street.
Okay.
It floods near the curb, and when the cars go through there, it splashes water up over the neighbors' vehicles. I contacted the city, because I thought that that part was the city project. But I was told that was Midway, and they were supposed to be contacting Midway about it to remedy it. I haven't heard anything about it, so I just put that.
Okay, I'll look into it.
I think it
Thank you. Anybody else that would like to provide public comment? Hearing none, I will close public comment. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 2-0.
Thank you, commissioners. That's all I have for you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner reports. Commissioner Shapley?
I don't have a report.
I attended a .09 committee meeting, last Friday, I believe. There was 3 projects presented. 2 were outside the scope of the .09 committee. One was, the potential funding of a gas line, that was talked about at length, and I believe it is headed to the county commissioners for additional discussion. I think that's all I've got. I will
I make a motion to adjourn.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 2-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.